everyone, it's Becky Danzenbaker and I'm in my newborn studio or my baby studio. I am actually prepping for a session with a 9-month-old in a couple of days. I've already set up a couple of props. One you can't really quite see over there. It's going to be amazingly cute. So I'm sure you'll see those photos coming across my Facebook feed soon, or some of them at least. But I wanted to take some time to show you how I'm going to create a prop that I'm going to use for that 9-month session, which is going to be some red fluff that I'm going to use to fill up a bowl. And I'm going to do that by just deconstructing a skein of yarn. I've already done that with this blue fluff that came from this. All of this fluff came from just one skein of yarn, and this bowl is pretty deep. It's probably about 6 inches deep, and that's the only thing in this bowl right now. So you can get a ton of fluff from just one skein of yarn. It's always better to have more than you need than not enough, obviously. And I would obviously then use this setup with the newborn to kind of add a coordinating wrap and a little coordinating hat to make this look super duper cute with a lot of great textures and nice soft textures around the skin. So this is all really soft fluff. This one was from a skein of wool yarn, nice thick chunky wool like you would use to create a scarf. And the one that I'm going to use today to demonstrate how to create this red fluff is from this skein of yarn, which is an alpaca. And you'll see the woman wearing a scarf on the front. And alpaca is a really, really soft yarn as well. And I really liked how this yarn had some variegations of different white in it. And it's also not a bright super red. It's a nice crimson. So it'll look good against skin, as opposed to kind of like pulling out yellows in the skin. This one has a lot of blues in it, which is much nicer against skin. So I'm going to show you how to create the fluff. This fluff is from about 5 pieces, or maybe 6 to 8 of these pieces of yarn that I've cut off so far. So this is how I'm going to do it. My daughter's going to take over holding the phone. Excuse us as we transition. So I just do it on my lap, and it does take a bit of time. That whole skein of blue yarn probably took me around 3 to 4 hours today, but I just was watching editing videos and workshop videos and stuff that had been on my plate to kind of catch up on for a while. So I was kind of learning while I was doing this. And if you are, watching TV at night, or watching a movie you've already seen before, and you can kind of half pay attention to the movie and half pay attention to what your hands are doing, then it's really easy to get this knocked out of the way. You can also get the person who's sitting beside you watching TV to also help you with it. So I just pulled apart a piece of yarn. What I did was basically cut off a whole bunch of these at around 1 foot long. It doesn't have to be precise, so whatever looks about right. That's where I make the cut, and I add them to a big pile, and then I start working on my pile. So I just pull from the middle to separate the 2 halves of the yarn into its 2 strings, and then I layer them on top of one another like this. I kind of dig my fingernails in between the 2 to separate them both. I'm just doing 2 at once to save time. You could do 1 at a time, but I figured out that it does save time to just do 2 at once. And you'll kind of sometimes get little curly cues or knots at the bottom, and I'll just tug at those until they fall apart. And then it all just kind of sticks together. This is the raw like wool that they start with, and then they spin it into yarn. So we're just kind of deconstructing it back into its natural space and to its natural state after you would shear it off of an alpaca or a sheep or a lamb. So what's nice about this too is you get not only this really soft fluff, but it does have these little curly cues in it too, which are really super cute. And the other great thing about this is I can decompress this all the way down into a very tight ball. And then when I let go, it just fluffs all the way back up again. So it's really easy to store in small spaces, and then you can easily regenerate it back into its fluffy state. And then with this one, I'll probably add this crimson wrap to cover up a diaper for the baby, and we'll have this like in a wood bowl and her sitting among that, and maybe I'll add some flowers or something. So I'm excited. I hope that helps. Oh, by the way, this is super inexpensive. That blue skein of yarn cost me exactly $4.24 with my Michaels coupon that I had. I just bought it straight out of the store. Didn't have to buy it on eBay or Etsy or anything like that. And I also bought this skein of yarn from Michaels. I bought it from Michaels online, and I picked it up in the store, and they had a coupon where if you bought it online, you could save 40%. So I think this one was around $6 for the alpaca. So not so bad for a whole basket filler. Thanks. Bye.